Hi everyone. So today I decided I wanted to share with you guys what my symptoms were for this pregnancy and compare it a little bit with my last. I also want to share with you guys what my birth plan is this time. And so I guess I'll go ahead and start with how my first pregnancy was. My first pregnancy was a planned pregnancy. Both me and my husband, we both decided we wanted to start a family, and the first month that we tried, we were able to get a positive result. The first month felt no different. I had no symptoms at all. The second month was when I started getting morning sickness, and for those of you who don't know what morning sickness is, you basically feel very nauseated, especially if you don't keep up with your meals. And it's like, for me, the worst was in the morning, because you just woke up and you just wake up starving. I did have it throughout the day. I didn't just have it in the morning. I don't know what's called morning sickness, but most women I've heard have it all day. And so I did have that for about a month, probably 5 weeks, around there. Like, it was a little less than a month and a half, and it was just not fun. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. I never threw up, but I almost, like, I had so many different times when I felt like I was gonna pass out. So yeah, after that happened, I think we found out the gender of our baby like around maybe the 4th, 5th month. And we didn't go to a 3D ultrasound. We just kind of went with when my doctor was ready to tell us. And so we found out it was a boy. So we found out it was a boy, and it was Michael. So, after the whole morning sickness thing, everything was so smooth. I was able to enjoy my pregnancy a lot better, and I have no complaints. I think there was just one time when I felt like my back was hurting really bad, and I wasn't sure if that was like labor pain or if it was because, I don't know, maybe the way the baby was laying. But other than that, everything was so smooth. I was able to enjoy pregnancy, and I had no issues. I did have some swelling on my feet and hands and my face. It had nothing to do with preeclampsia or anything like that. It was just my body's reaction to pregnancy. And then around probably my 36th week and some days, I remember it was right after maternity leave is when I started getting a rash. And I remember going to a doctor, and she ordered some labs, and I was diagnosed with cholestasis and PUPS. So if you don't know what cholestasis is, it pretty much means that your liver stops functioning the way it should, and all of these acids are being released into your bloodstream, and so it causes an itch all around your body, especially the hands and the feet. And it really doesn't cause any harm to the mother, but it does, or it can cause harm to the baby. And it's pretty scary. Your baby can become stillborn. And my levels, I really don't know what my levels were at that time, so I don't want to just make up a number. I really don't remember. And it was just hard because you're just not able to concentrate, you're not able to sleep, not to mention, like, very last weeks of pregnancy are already pretty uncomfortable, and so I was just even more uncomfortable with this. So it was definitely challenging, but it was something I was able to get through. My son, at this point, he was breech, and we were planning for a C-section. And oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention, when you have cholestasis, you're automatically put at a high risk. So I became high risk because your chances of your baby becoming stillborn are higher. And then my doctor had me on non-stress test every 2 days, or I'm sorry, not every 2 days, it was like twice a week. And as far as PUPS is just a rash. It really does no harm to the baby or the mother. It was just another rash I had. So Anyway, I was going to these non-stress tests because of the cholestasis, and we really just wanted to monitor baby and see how he was doing. The technician noticed that my baby was really low in fluids. Like, he was very low in amniotic fluid, and she said, you know, I'm glad. My husband was there that day, and she said, I'm glad both of you are here because you're having a baby today. And we were so excited. I was definitely ready, and like I said, my son was breech, so we were going in for a C-section. So we went in for emergency C-section, and the doctor who did my C-section was not my doctor. It was actually a doctor on call, and so she didn't really know my history. So during the C-section, the doctor asks, honey, did you know that you have a heart-shaped uterus? And at this point, I'm very confused. I don't even know what that is, but I didn't know. So I answered and I said, no, I didn't know. So she said, yeah, honey, every time you get pregnant, you're always going to have a C-section. There's absolutely no way the baby will come out through the birth canal. You have no space. And so that kind of got me a little bit worried. And then later, when I was in the recovery room, she came in and she explained to me what that meant for me. She said, you're going to be a higher risk pregnancy. People who have this condition are usually, you know, higher risk for stillborn, premature babies, not being able to conceive. What else? I think that was it. But yeah, I was pretty much going to be a high risk pregnancy, and I was always going to have C-section. According to what she saw during the C-section, she said she wouldn't recommend me having a normal delivery. And then she mentioned she also wanted me to have like some special ultrasounds done to see if I had both of my kidneys, because a lot of people who are diagnosed with this only have one. So yeah, after my recovery, I made appointments, spoke with my doctor, and she gave me all of these things I had to do in order to get diagnosed. Like, I remember going in for an ultrasound where they pumped ink into my uterus. So we were able to determine that I had a heart-shaped uterus, and I had a complete heart-shaped uterus. There's people who have a semi, I think that's what they call it, when it's like a really small dip. And this is something you can probably look up. I really don't know how to explain in more details like what the difference is, but mine, pretty much, my uterus is divided into two, so there's limited space for a baby to grow in. I thank God that my baby was at 38 weeks, not premature, and didn't, you know, was able to make it full term. And so thank God for that, because I really didn't know I was high risk, or even, I didn't even know I had a heart-shaped uterus my entire pregnancy until I had the C-section. So I'm really grateful to God for that. And you know, just knowing that I have that condition, I can be a little bit more prepared. Definitely put me in a place where I didn't really know if I wanted to have any more children, because all of these different high risks that I had were just, I don't know, it was something that I wasn't too sure if I wanted to go through, or if I was even ready to go through something like that if it happened to me. And so anyway, so yeah, I was diagnosed with the heart-shaped uterus, and I think I'm just gonna end it here because this video is getting pretty long. I'm gonna have a part 2 on what my symptoms are this time around. They are very similar, but there are a few things that changed and were definitely scary. The medical term for heart-shaped uterus is a bicornuate uterus, and mine is a complete bicornuate uterus. And so yeah, I wanted to share this video to document this for myself, and also for those moms who are probably looking for some positive pregnancies and have been diagnosed with the same thing I have. So I really hope this helps out, and if you have any questions, you can leave them down below. I'll try to answer as much as I can. So that is it for today, and thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.